Okay, so we are live for our podcast. I'm trying to think, what number is this? This is number 7.
Seven already?
Way to
What?
do this. Yeah, yeah. And so, hello, my name is Darci and you are listening also to Terry Osti. And we are Agent Tech Mastery, a podcast that revolutionizes the real estate business. I have had almost 3 decades in IT, and Terry has had almost 2 decades as a real estate agent. We are your guides for streamlining operations, saving an enormous amount of time, and boosting your revenue. Discover cutting edge technology, systems, and apps, and a mindset for a profitable and integrated business. If you want to know how to get there, you're in the right place. You ready for the best topic ever today, Terry?
Oh my goodness. I know this is very controversial.
We are talking about CRMs, client relationship management software. I also jokingly refer to it as can't rely on memory.
Yeah.
And so this, we could probably talk for hours about this particular subject. Um, but let's define what a client relationship management software is, and then forevermore, we're going to call it CRM. So it really is a way to manage your everything, really, your whole business inside software. So your clients, your appointments, your email blasts, aka newsletters. We're going to talk about newsletters in another session for sure. And we can talk about, or sorry, inside the CRM, drip campaigns, which is incredibly helpful to agents because you set something up once and then you don't really have to worry about it. And then there's many other things that at the base level, all CRMs do this. And then there's other bells and whistles like transaction management, lockbox, keeping track of lockboxes, expenses. Some offer websites, some offer newsletters inside their CRM, which is horrible. Please remind me to talk about that. Some offer texting, some offer lead gen. Like there's just a lot of stuff going on with the word CRM. Yeah, Terry,
Correct. Can I tell you a little story about CRMs?
please tell me a story.
Long, long time ago when I started in the real estate business, I was invited to come and join Remax because they obviously go head hunting and do those kind of things. Everybody does.
Mhm.
Anyhow, I got called into the office, so I made an appointment, and the broker owner was there with a recruiter, and they're doing a kind of a questionnaire evaluation of what my current business model looked like. And I had just started, right? So I wasn't quite up and running as efficiently quite yet. And she goes, "Are you using a CRM?" And I looked at her, I said, "No." She goes, she looked me straight in the face and she says, "You're not a professional agent."
I
I know, I
actually
was
know
like, "What?"
I know who that is, and kudos to Deb. Yep, because she is a straight shooter, and
Yeah.
I also try to be a straight shooter as well because it's true. Like if you are not managing your clients with software, a spreadsheet is not a CRM. Your
No.
memory is not a CRM. A writing down notes about clients is not a CRM. A CRM is literally software that helps you manage your clients. And
You have to
I
qualify
know,
that as well.
what's that?
Sorry to interrupt you again, but I have to say something because this is really,
Yes.
really important. There's a big difference between having a CRM and using a CRM.
Like a gym membership.
Exactly the same. I know
Yeah.
lots of people who have CRMs that are just cluttering up their computer because it's just sitting there doing absolutely nothing.
Yep. And what I consistently see in this industry is that when I talk to agents, is that on the low side, if people have been around for a while, they've tried 4 or 5, 10 different CRMs and nothing works. Well, why is that? Why is nothing working? And what I consistently see is the overwhelm because they don't know what to do, where to start. And what I've discovered is that too many features is like, yeah, it looks great when you first look at it, but you'll never do anything. And you're going to keep paying, just like you just said, Terry, like it's a gym membership and never go. Like you're never going to do the stuff that is required to actually have that CRM become like a full-time assistant for you. Right.
Right.
And then I think, Terry, maybe you should tell the story about when you first started. And maybe we're not going to delve into exact CRMs. If you want, at the end, I give people an opportunity to book a chat with me and I'll look at your systems and we can talk about other CRMs you've used or not used and get into more detail. But we're not going to specifically talk about any CRM, but know that they are not all equal. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. But when you first started, Terry.
Yeah, because we talked about CRMs and how important it is to have this software program working with you to help run your business efficiently, keep track of things, all that kind of stuff that we just mentioned. Now, if you're not familiar with how these CRMs work, like the fundamentals, there's other layers of things that are happening in the background that have to happen in order for your CRM to actually do what it's supposed to do. Because I can probably guarantee you 95, probably 95% of the agents out there have a CRM that they're using as a standalone database and they're just recording stuff in it. And that's
Yep.
it. I know we're gonna get to this a little bit later, probably, but I'm just saying that, and that's what happened to me. I talked to all my fellow agents. Hey, what's the best CRM to use? And everybody said, "Oh yeah, I use this one, this and then, all right."
Yeah.
So you end up using it, and you just start. And the lovely, lovely people at these CRM companies will give you the three-step process to get this thing up and running, right? And they say, "Let's import all your contacts
Mhm.
first and
Red,
foremost," right?
red flag, folks, red flag.
That's a big one. And if you don't know, you don't know because you go, "Oh, this is going to be amazing. This is so great. They're helping me and it's
Yeah.
beautiful, blah, 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 blah." So then you, wherever you get your contacts from, most have like from everywhere, but
Mhm.
there's usually some database somewhere that has the majority of them somewhere, however unorganized they probably are. But
Yeah.
so then they upload them and then you just start using it the best you can,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And
And
that's part of the thing when you let me just kind of elaborate a little bit when
yeah,
Terry says standalone. When I'm working with agents, what we want to happen is the following. And this is what I don't think I've ever talked to an agent where this is like thousands and thousands of agents over my couple decades. Nobody's ever set up right. So the goal of how it should sync and integrate is that on any device, you add, edit, update a contact, a calendar, a file. It updates, adds, edits on every computer you touch and the CRM. What most agents have to do is they add and edit a contact on their phone, then they have to update it on their tablet, then they have to update it on their computers, and then they have to update it in the CRM because nothing talks to each other. Does that make sense? And that is an incredible waste of time. And we'll talk about time management in another podcast we're going to do. That's on the list. But it's generally wastes at least 10 hours a week. Multiply that by what you think your value is. It's a lot of time value in dollars lost every year, 48,000, 100,000. It's ridiculous amount of wasted time because of systems. So back to the CRM. I remember, Terry, when you first started, I think you just asked and people said, "Oh, use this." And then when I started looking, like, this is a piece of shit. Can I say that? Sorry, can I say that? Okay. I'm like, well, who told you to use this? It doesn't sync properly. And again, I'm coming from an IT background. So I'm not looking at what it does, except does it sync properly? Because I know that's going to keep everything up to date and not having to manage multiple things, which, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And not all CRMs sync and integrate properly. There's three things that can happen. One, it's a standalone database, all separate, nothing talks. Bad, right? But if you use it, at least you're doing something. So that's good. It might do a one-way sync. So you update the contact in your phone, it might update the CRM, or the opposite way. Okay. Or it can be a two-way sync, and there should not be third-party tools involved in this. This is another thing I see what CRM companies do. And what I mean by that, and Terry, jump in if I'm,
Yeah, what's the name of that software that everybody uses as an
oh,
interface?
there's so many. Well, Zapier is the big one.
There's a big one. Yeah, okay,
Didn't
yeah.
have to use Zapier, but some of the CRMs actually created their own app because it doesn't sync properly. Why? I don't even know why. It literally makes no sense to me. So they create their own third party tool, or they recommend third party tools to put on your phone, that specific phone, to get things to maybe sync. What I see over and over and over again with agents that do that, that stuff fails. So maybe you get a new phone and you can't remember that now you have to re-enable that app to talk to whatever, to talk to that CRM, and then your months, and like finally you notice, oh, it's not syncing. Now we have a problem. When did it stop? What people will, if we turn it on, is it going to overwrite that? Like, it's a big, huge problem. Am I explaining that right?
Yeah, makes sense for sure.
Okay. Okay. So
But
yeah,
a lot of people may not understand exactly that, what's going on in the
I
in the
know.
background. Um, because one of the comments I want to make too is whenever somebody's thinking about changing CRMs or wanting to get a CRM, the power of the internet is pretty cool because you can go out there to all these different real estate groups and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a CRM. What are
Yeah.
your recommendations?" And you're gonna spam by hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah.
It's like going out and saying, "Okay, I'm thinking about buying a car. What kind of car should I get?"
I know.
Right?
Yes.
You're gonna get a million answers, and people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, this one's the best ever!" La la la, on, right? So,
Mhm.
you can fall into that trap quite easily because everybody's gonna be so proud of the software that they're using.
Yes.
They feel it's the best because they are using it, right? So you're gonna get a lot of those opinions for sure.
Well, I like you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, one thing that you have to talk to an expert like yourself who wants to understand your business first and foremost, and then
Mhm.
actually can give you a recommendation. Put
Yeah.
it out to the masses, you're gonna get a thousand different answers.
Well, Terry gave me this analogy, and I've used it when I'm speaking at conferences all across North America when I'm talking about CRMs. When people are saying, "But Darci, just tell me what CRM's the best." I'm like, I can't tell you which one is the best until I understand, why didn't you like this one? Why didn't you like this one? Why didn't you like this one? How's your business set up? Is your business set up to sync and integrate? I don't know. So I will never, ever, ever say go use this one because I don't know your business. And Terry gave me this great analogy, not a good car one for me because I hate cars. I'm not big on, I don't know anything about cars. I kind of know how to drive one. That's it. Um, he said, analogy for that is exactly what he said, is like, if you went into a lot and you said, yeah, I'm here to buy a car. They're not just going to say, oh, well, get this one. This is the best one. They're going to say, do you have children? Is this your second car? Do you want electric? Do you have an electric plug-in? They're going to need to know your needs. And if those salespeople don't do that in the CRM that you're looking at, they just want your business, right? To make money. So that's incredibly important, Terry. So thanks for bringing that up, because
Mhm.
that kind of drives me bonkers. And also, you guys, you can get in touch with us. We have a CRM checklist, and this is about 8 questions we ask when someone says to me, "Oh, this is the best CRM," and I maybe haven't heard of it, which would be rare, but there's always new ones popping up. Then what I do is I go through this same checklist, and number one is, I'll tell you what number one is, because I will not look any further if the answer to this is no. Do you do a two-way sync with my contacts? If they say no, 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 but it's okay, just give us the info and we'll import it. Nope, not even looking at it, because that's going to cost you a lot of extra time, because that is the standalone CRM.
Exactly. So one of the other processes of evaluating CRMs, obviously you should talk to a professional. If you're listening to your colleagues, fair enough, they're going to give you an opinion for sure.
And ask them, what are they doing inside the CRM? If they're just managing their contacts, that is not what a CRM is for.
But they may not even know that that's happening. They just say, "Well, this is the way CRMs are," right? You don't even know. They may not even know they're driving on flat tires, right?
Yeah.
So, speaking of car analogies, but the other process is do I buy a CRM and pay the monthly or annual fees myself and subscribe to it as me or my company is going to do it? Or do I take the free CRM system from my brokerage? I'm not going to touch this one because it's a hot potato, but you can touch
Okay,
it.
I'm gonna touch it. You ready? Hot potato right now. I also want to swear at this because it is drives me absolutely crazy. Do not, do not, do not, do not use a brokerage owned CRM, and do not use a brokerage owned email. If you haven't listened to our podcast or watched this YouTube podcast about emails, go watch that. The issue is, you guys, is that I think everybody thinks, oh, great, I don't have to pay for it. But it is not your data, it is the brokerages. And I'm going to give, because I'm not speaking out of turn here, this literally happened. I'm going to give you a really good, another example of why not to, because you have no control over what the brokerage decides to do and what tools they're going to give you to use. So Remax is a perfect example of when Terry was with Remax, they had a system called Booge. And what did I say from day one, Terry? I hate to say I told you so, but
No, you said I'm not going to support this because it does only a one-way sync and it's useless.
no, it didn't. No, it didn't even do a one-way
Oh,
sync.
it didn't even do one-way sync.
No, no, it was standalone.
Oh, it's totally standalone? Oh,
And
okay.
then I think they added a one-way. Anyhow, I kept in touch with them, who are the programmers, or when they were doing that, saying, this is, I'm not recommending it to anybody until it actually, and plus it's also a brokerage, but I was looking at it at a different level because I did a lot of work with Remax at the time. So imagine this. I think they promoted it and had it for their agents for 6 or 7 years.
Quite a
I
while.
think 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. So imagine you're an agent, you're like, buy into it. You're like, I'm putting all my data in there. I'm going to spend a whole bunch of time and I'm going to create campaigns for my people. And I'm going to use all the different tools inside the CRM. And then they said, you know what? We're not going to use it anymore. We're going to go to another CRM,
Yeah.
and we're not supporting that anymore.
But just on a note, the full intent was there. The,
Oh, for
the
sure.
heart was in the right place, and the direction was like going down the right path. So kudos to them for doing that. Fair enough, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. But at the
Absolutely.
end, it didn't work out very well.
No, it didn't. And then they couldn't transfer the data. There was a big mishmash of stuff. And again, that's the brokerages are offering this for you for probably good intentions. But what they don't realize is that when you leave, they're going to cut off access to your email, everything to do with that brokerage. So I have had it many times when I've talked to clients that usually I want to get to you before this happens, but after the fact, where they said they have lost 30 years of their client data. Like that, just even saying that out loud, it makes me sick, because own your own data. If you get anything out of this session we're doing, is own your own data, own your own central database, own your own CRM. So if you ever leave, you might never leave, but who cares? If you ever leave, what's going to happen?
You know, you know,
Nothing.
you know what I heard? Some people say, "Well, I'm not worried about it because they say I can export my stuff."
Oh,
Right? So that's a
yep,
pretty broad statement, of course. So this usually
yep,
boils down to you might be able to extract your contacts as a
that's right.
CRM, possibly.
Gosh, you've been listening to me.
But you might lose, you're going to lose the transaction history,
Oh, there's no might.
no, okay, yeah, you will. You'll lose transaction history, the contact notes,
Anything else
anything else. Yeah.
outside, because drip campaigns are with that specific software. So, and sorry, you guys, just in case you don't know what drip campaigns, let me just explain it. So a drip campaign, and other CRMs might call it different things, like activity plan, a task plan, an email flow, a workflow. I personally call them drip campaigns. Basically, it is a sequential set of tasks or emails for a particular type of client. So you wouldn't say the same thing to a buyer as you would a seller, right? So you would have a drip campaign for a seller and a drip campaign for a buyer. And then when people buy, you would have a drip campaign for the past buyers. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. So all those, so let's say we create a drip campaign inside the brokerage CRM, and I spend all this time because you do. Okay, another tip came to my mind. Do not use anything out of the box. Do not use newsletters out of the box. Do not use drip campaigns out of the box because people will know it's not you. Okay. So we are customizing the campaign. We're going to put, if it was my campaign, it would be Darci's way of talking. If it was Terry's, it would be Terry's way of talking. So they know when they get these emails that it's actually from you and not from some thing you downloaded and never updated. You makes it sound like you. So there's some work involved in doing this. So you do a bunch of drips, maybe you've done a whole bunch of newsletters and they're already they're inside the CRM. You maybe the newsletters you might individually be able to copy and paste and redo it somewhere else, but that's going to be time consuming. But you're not going to be able to export all your drips from that specific CRM and import them into the new CRM. Contacts, yes, almost every system I have ever worked with, any software, we can export the CRM or the CRM, the contacts. Okay. But you can't export other things inside it. Am I clear about that? Okay. Yep. What else have I missed talking about CRMs? Because it's so important, again, to own your own data. And drip campaigns are okay. Actually, I will talk about something. Because I've talked to so many agents over the years, and I'm going to tell you the average when I talk to somebody. So don't feel bad if you're not using a CRM because most agents aren't using a CRM. They might be paying for it, they might not have one, but they're not using it. So I consistently ask, so how many deals have you lost because of your business isn't streamlined and you're not using a CRM? And you want to know how much? Like, this is the lowest number is like $100,000 up to billions. I had one client who'd been in the business for 55 years, never kept in touch with his past clients, and had admittedly lost billions of dollars. High producing agent still. But think about it. If you're chasing new leads all the time, wouldn't it be easier just to do a CRM, configure it, add your people to it so you're consistently keeping in touch with them? So you are top of mind. Like Terry,
Yeah, well, I look, it's super important to because once you have more than a couple hundred people in your database, right, it becomes super overwhelming, right?
cannot remember.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know in the industry there's different ways of doing business. There's, transactional based business models, there's, referral based business models, et cetera, et cetera. There's all these different models that are out there.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, the general public really wants to be treated, like a person and not a number, right? And if you genuinely care about your clients,
Yeah.
it's hard to manage that many clients. So the thing about the CRM is that it just makes it a little bit easier to manage all these people that know, love, and trust you, right?
Yep.
And you give that love back, of course, because not every client's perfect, but I think in all of my business, I got the majority of my people that I work with are absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I will hang out with them all day long
Yeah.
outside of a transaction because
That's right.
amazing people, right? So, but I can't manage all that data in my head. There's just no way, right? So,
There is no way. There
there's
is no way.
yeah,
I'm going to say after maybe 3, 4 years, if you're doing enough deals, there's just no way stuff is going to drop off and you're going to forget. And then some other agent is going to be communicating because we know everyone, there's a dime a dozen, right?
yeah,
So many agents out there and some may be communicating with them. And if you don't, like, oh, maybe I'll just use this guy instead. They've forgotten about me.
yeah. That reminded me we're at about a story
No,
when we're down in Mexico, right?
I remember that now. Yeah.
And we're sitting on the beach, and at that time, I was easily identifiable as a real estate agent. I was not an undercover agent.
What do you mean? Because you had your
That's
your
correct.
logo?
Right. So the people, as soon as they see, oh, real estate, right, they want to talk. So there's this couple just down the beach from us, and we're talking about real estate, and they're from Wisconsin or wherever they're from. So I said, so I'm always working on having a really broad international network of agents that I know, love, and trust. So I asked them to see what their recommendation was for where they live, to see if actually there's a good agent that I could interview and see if they fit into my criteria for being an approved referral agent for that city, right? So they told the story. Oh yeah, it was so good. Our agent was so amazing. It was so great. I said, how long ago was that? It was, about 5 years ago. I said, please tell me who this person, lovely person is. And they looked at me and went, I can't remember. They
She
couldn't
searched for
remember.
her through her phone. She could, even by the end of the trip, I remember that. Did you ever, because it was then a running joke because we met them early. Do you know who the agent is? No. I said, guess you're not using them again. She's no, I guess not.
Who they
But
are.
she went on about how great he was. And that is typical. Like, you don't know what's happening in the background. Like, those people are probably any agent's people,
Yeah.
right? They
Mhm.
don't know who you are. They don't remember.
Yep.
Life
They want
happens.
to use you.
They do want to use you. So,
They know, love, and trust you. You did a great job for them. They
yeah.
can't remember who the heck you are.
Yeah. And there is like lead gen stuff is fine. But when people are doing lead gen and not keeping in touch with their past clients, that's just craziness, in my opinion, because it's fairly simple to set up at least to keep in touch with these people, right? And you don't know how many repeat and referral business is going to come from that. Everybody knows somebody who's looking to buy or sell.
Yeah.
All right, family, friends, work, coworkers, some relatives, other relatives, and if they think of you immediately, that's what we want,
No, no,
right?
exactly. And it's not as if you're being a pesky salesperson or whatever.
Oh,
They want to work with you because they love you.
yes. And this just brings us up to, what I think next time we'll talk about newsletters, because I think that what I've talked to so many agents about this as well, because you can do newsletters inside a CRM. And some CRMs have newsletters that they pre-do for you. Please don't use them. Again, I'll talk about this when we do our newsletter podcast, which maybe we'll do in the next one. But it's incredibly important. Like, at the very least, if you're not going to do drip campaigns, which you should, because that's just a moneymaker, but at the very least, you should be doing some sort of communications with your clients. And I'm just going to reiterate this because I'll talk about it. We will talk about it more in more detail later in another session. But what I see agents doing is someone else is doing the newsletter and it's all about your listings. I don't care. If I just bought a place, why do you? The content needs to be relevant to the people you're sending it to. And I think agents just throw everyone into this one thing and think everybody cares about their listings and the market. Not everybody cares, right? And we'll talk about that next time because Terry and I did a little, remember when we switched yours around because we were doing stats? And I said, why are we doing stats? Does everybody want stats? And then we asked them, very few people wanted stats. Some do, those people get the stats. Other people get a different newsletter. Okay, so we'll talk about how you can do that. And another topic too, we're going to do, I just remembered of something is AI. I love AI. I showed Terry something yesterday and he's like, who's that guy? It was incredible.
It's
I'll
incredible.
save that because I might have to do that live webinar to show people how to do it, which is pretty cool.
This will blow
Um,
your mind. How,
yeah,
how
I will blow people's minds for sure. So
yes.
do we have any other info that we want to talk about in the CRM?
Well, CRM, mandatory tool for realtors. Simple as that. It's like any other piece of software that you need to
Yeah,
do your job, to operate your company.
yeah,
It's super, super important, whether you're an individual or a team or whatever you're doing. You have to have some sort of way to manage all this data. And like Darcy says, own your own data. The brokerages have every best intention. They're
yep,
doing the thing and
yep.
nothing wrong with that. And if they offer it to you, great. But just be aware if you are going to use it, there are some consequences that you may not be able to keep some of that or a lot of that data on the way out, right?
Yeah.
And I know people say, well, I will never, ever, ever, ever leave my brokerage. And that might be true, but you just never know, right? And it's such
Yeah, it's a
right?
rare agent that I have talked to that has been with the same brokerage for their 50, 60-year career.
Yeah, for
Very
sure.
rare. Because also, yeah, I think that's a good point, Terry. So let's just talk about that for a second, because I have had people say, but I will never leave, blah, blah. You don't know. Like we don't know what's going to happen, right? What I've seen happen is that maybe they're at that particular brokerage because they like the managing broker, and the managing broker leaves, retires, gets out of the business, whatever, and now you don't like the new person. Are you going to stay there? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
Or you move to a different area where that brokerage isn't,
Mm.
right? Different state, different province. Okay, that's another reason. Or maybe you want to tell your story, Terry.
Yeah, there's other, or because we're talking about agents moving around from brokerage to brokerage. I know at least one brokerage who actually terminated their franchise agreement and rebranded to
Oh,
another brand,
oh, oh,
right?
interesting.
That
Okay.
was in the Lower Mainland. And
Yep,
there's also a chance that the brokerage might just shut down if it's a smaller one. Let's say they might just shut it down.
that's right. I've actually seen that as well. Yeah.
That happen, and then they might sell it to somebody else.
Oh, what's happening?
I have had almost 3 decades in
Hold on,
IT,
I'm
and
listening.
Terry has had
Playing,
almost
you're playing.
What's happening?
What are you doing back there?
YouTube guides for
YouTube is talking. Hold on, you guys, I'm so sorry.
and boosting
I don't know what is
discover
making
cutting edge technology systems, apps, and a mindset for
This is the beginning of the
I'm
podcast.
turning everything off.
If
I
you want
know.
to know how to get there, you're in the right place.
I don't know
You
why it's
entered
doing
the
this.
best topic ever today, Terry.
Okay, hold on.
Oh my goodness. I know this is
We are talking
the
about
IT glitches all.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Oh, that was so weird. It was in the background. You know what happened? Oh my gosh, that's so weird that it usually would start right away. It was this is streaming to YouTube podcasts, and I don't know why it took a half an hour before it went live, but it just started going live.
Okay.
Anyhow,
So what I was talking about was agents will say, I will never leave this brokerage, love it, la 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 la, on and on, right? So that's that perspective. But there's another, like I mentioned, the brokerage could change, the brokerage could shut down. You made it
yeah,
beyond your control, and you have every best intention to stay
yeah.
there.
I
Things
mean,
change.
everything changes, things happen, and again, I think a small percentage would stay with the same brokerage forever, but that has not been my experience at all. And I've been talking to agents for almost 2 decades, and same with you, Terry. I think like just stuff happens. Like we've just seen everything under the sun where stuff happens, and people are like, well, I don't really like it here anymore. So own your own data. So when that happens, so what? Right? You're not going to be panicked going, oh, am I going to lose all my client data? You have it already.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah. And the switchover is really easy because you just switch your branding
Yeah.
and
Signs,
you have
business.
you have a consistent marketing package. So everything's so you just go through your checklist, check off all that, change the branding, get some new
Yeah.
signs printed, and you're up and running because all your data is yours. It's already there.
Yeah.
Same thing with we talked about this before, dripping a glass of wine on your keyboard or something at the office, killing your computer. It's like, okay, that just cost me $1,500, but I'm going to be up and running within an hour once I go run to the store and get a new laptop, right?
And that includes going to the store and getting the laptop.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yes, yes.
so switching when things happen to the thing, when stuff happens, it's not a big deal. But if you're locked into these things and you don't have your stuff syncing properly and you got contacts on your phone and on your computer and on your tablet and all over the place in the backseat of your car, you have contacts,
Yeah.
right? You have them
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah. Exactly.
What a mess. Then it's a real challenge if you start having to switch brokerages and or if your pieces of equipment break or
Yeah. Yeah.
I've driven over my phone. Drove over my phone one time.
Yes, you have.
That
Yep.
happened, right? So, but yeah, the on the brokerage side of things, yeah, you just never know. And I know you have all good intentions when you say you're never ever going to leave, but the
Mhm.
brokerage might leave you.
Yeah, exactly. So perfect. So awesome, you guys. I hope this was valuable. Again, this is the Agent Tech Mastery podcast. If you are stuck and piecemealed together and your business is not quite functioning as efficiently as it should be, let's get you where you want to go. If you want our help to do that, book a call at Agent Tech Mastery at agenttechmastery.com/apply pod. Absolutely free to review your systems, possibly the best call you've ever had in your whole life. And again, that's agenttechmastery.com